What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, guys, with Nando.
And Roberto.
So today's topic is going to be...
Today we're going to be talking about, do modern guys have low standards?
Ooh.
Do they have low standards? Do they have high standards? Do they have standards? Do guys have standards at all? You want to start us off?
Yeah, I think men's standards are very simply put. One of them being, is she attractive, right? Is the woman attractive? Does she look good? Physical attractiveness. Is she beautiful? That's what men really look for at first. That's what brings men in to asking a girl out, to hitting on a girl, talking to a girl, whatever the case is. And that's one of the, I would say, most important standards that guys are going to have. They want to make sure that the girl they're going after is a girl that they're attractive to and is pretty for them, right? Because, of course, every girl is different, but every man decides which girl is pretty enough for them. So physical attractiveness, for sure, is one.
Yeah, and the first thing I'd like to say is we need to start with this. Women's standards are completely different than guys' standards. If you ask a woman what are your standards, chances are she's going to label a few things for you. He needs to make this much. He needs to be this tall. She's going to also throw in the personality aspect of it. We want a masculine, assertive, dominant type of guy. She'll give you kind of this whole list of things that they're looking for in a guy. Their standards are a little more complicated than guys' standards, right?
They're more complex.
So if you ask a guy like what his standards are, and women will ask this question sometimes, it starts with what we want. What are our needs? Our standards are far simpler, like you said. And we get bashed for this sometimes, but it's just the truth. Biologically, like, we just are simple. We want looks. We want a woman that's doesn't make our life difficult. It's like, it's such a simple thing, but like it's hard to explain. We don't want a woman that comes into our lives and makes our lives difficult, challenging, stressful, gives us a hard time. So those two things are huge. Attractiveness, hands down. I think men are more visual than females, right? Females need a more emotional connection. They need to feel something. For us, it's not like that. It starts with looks, and then we feel something later. What else can you really throw in there? I mean,
well, the good one that you said was peace at home. Pretty much no stress, no arguing. I mean, we as guys are out there competing against the world, fighting against the world to make a certain amount of money, have a certain amount of status, and really bring home what we can to support a woman or a wife if you're married or children. Mm-hmm. So we want to come home and not have to fight another battle. There's no reason for it. It's annoying, plain and simple. And if you're living at home with a woman, it should be a caring, loving home, peaceful home. And I'm sure that's what you mean by no stress.
100%. And those two things that we just labeled are there, I think, are like really the two most important things to the guy. Obviously, we could list off a bunch of other things and get more detail, but those are really the two most important ones. Now, something else that I'd like to add that I think is like really important is that when you look at modern women standards, right? Guys are now in a position where they can't really have as high standards and be as picky, because you ask a modern woman, what is she looking for in a guy? She's going to tell you she's looking for something north of 100K, 150K. I've had women that are average looking tell me, like, I remember having a conversation with this girl, and she's like, yeah, like 200K. And she like went like this with her hands as if like 200K is settling. Like, yeah, somewhere around 200K.
Like she can get it at the snap
as if
of a
that's
finger.
Like settling. Like, 200K will do. 300K will be great. Will be better, but 200K is fine. Like, it's around there. And the average salary for guys, depending which state you're in, is going to be like 40K, 50K, 60K. We're in the Northeast. Maybe 70, 80K is more average where we live. It depends where you are in the U.S., where you are in the world. So most guys are not even going to be in a position to say, well, we can't live in the same reality as women. Like, we know our worth. We know what we deserve. We live in like a reality based type of situation. We can't sit there and tell ourselves all these like false things like, oh, we know our worth and we'll just stay single till the right person comes along. We know what it is. Like modern dating, like you have to make a certain amount, you have to be physically in shape, you have to act a certain way, dress a certain way. There's like a bunch of things a guy really has to as they say, bring to the table to even compete, to even have a chance in modern dating. You know what I mean? So I don't think, to answer the question, I don't think it's that guys have low standards. I think that our needs are far different than what women need. And unfortunately, in modern dating, it's just like it's really difficult nowadays for most guys because of what women are asking for.
Well, you said it right there. I mean, you're talking about the average man, and then you're talking about the high value man. Well, the high value man worked hard to become high value, so he's going to have his standards. I'm sure those standards won't be as simple as the average guy. The average man is going to take whichever girl they can possibly get. So if they are attracted to a girl, that might do it. That might be it. That might be enough to be like, hey, I want to take you out and I want to give you the world. If the average man has enough to give to that girl, because let's dive into some stats. Approximately $48,000 a year is what men typically make on a salary. So can a woman, number one, accept that a man is making 40, 50, 60K a year? Because as you mentioned,
most women would laugh at that salary.
Yeah.
They would laugh at it. It wouldn't even be an option for them.
Nowadays, we see ladies asking for 100K, but not even.
I've seen everything
200.
starting at 100K to 200K to 300K 300K and up. And I think what is the cause of that? Where at what point did we go to these ridiculous, unrealistic standards? I think where it comes from is women get so much constant praise, validation on social media. There's so many guys coming at them that it builds your ego. It's naturally going to happen. I mean, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, right? Let's say the tables turned and we were getting 50 DMs a day and all these girls are coming at us and trying to date us and trying to take us out. You would naturally, your ego would just get boosted. You would feel like, oh, I got all these options. Well, you know what? I'm going to raise my standards now. Now I want the best. When you're in that type of a position where you're constantly getting hit on and approached and DM'd, it raises your ego. But ego doesn't necessarily mean that you qualify for a guy like that. And I think that's where it gets a little tricky because, you know, you have a lot of women that are out there like, yeah, I need a guy that makes like 200, 300K. I know my worth. I know my value. But they're forgetting that you also have to qualify for a guy like that. Why would that guy date you and stay loyal to you? He's going to be attracted to you because of your looks. If you look good, you have a nice body, yeah, he'll be attracted to you. He'll initially start seeing you. But what is it about you specifically that's going to make him be like, okay, all the other girls are out of the picture. I'm staying loyal to this girl. This is my main girl now. And I think a lot of girls forget that. You could say you have high standards and you know your worth and all that stuff. That's all great. What are you going to do? What is it about you specifically that makes you stand out from the other girls, aside from your looks? There's a lot of good-looking women out there.
And we will cover the standards that women have. That's for sure. We'll definitely.
That's an episode in itself right there.
That's an episode in itself. We'll cover that in the future. But in general, we know that the ladies have high standards. There's no questions about that. The men that they're looking for is a tiny percentage.
It's a very small percentage
of men that are out there currently. There's not really that many men that can fill that 200K, 300K a year, tall, high status, etc.
An interesting fact, and Rollo Tomasi touches on this pretty often when he's on podcasts, is that women would rather share a high value guy than to mess around with an average guy.
Surprisingly, but yes, it's true.
Women would that is a fact. Women would rather share a guy, and that's why you see that pretty often. Where there's that guy. Every town, every state, everybody knows there's that guy that there's like multiple women sleeping with him, talking to him, and coming at him. They would rather share that guy that like and plus like when a guy is valued by a lot of women and a lot of women are hitting on him, it kind of raises that guy's worth because other women look at him and they see that pre-selection and they're like, damn, all the other girls come at him. Like it makes him more attractive.
Do you think most men don't have a choice but to have low standards or to barely have any standards at all?
Well, that's why I wanted to kind of transition into this, because the original topic of this podcast was like, do men have low standards? And we already touched on how the fact that like average men they're not in a position to have standards. Like you have to kind of like what's the saying? Like you play the cards you're dealt, right? Where I do think a lot of guys have low standards or average standards is how they live their lives, their mindset, the money they make. A lot of guys nowadays lack motivation. They're not hitting the gym. They're not aiming to like increase their finances. And like, that's one of our pitfalls as guys is like, we very easily fall into comfort zones. We might make a certain amount and be like, this is enough for me. I'm good. I'm happy. Like, so I think if there's anything low standard about guys nowadays is that it's more of like the lifestyle and mindset, and like worst thing you could do as a guy is get lazy and just kind of get complacent and like fall into a comfort zone. As a guy, especially if you're in your 20s and your 30s, even in your mid-30s, you have to like constantly aim to improve. Well, every aspect of your life, how much you make, your physical health, you have to obviously improve like your overall knowledge, your intellect, and then you're going to eventually put yourself in a position. Look, women peak somewhere, I don't know the exact age, women peak somewhere in their early 20s. Guys peak in their mid-30s. Has nothing to do with opinion. These are facts. Women peak in their looks. Any woman that's like in her 30s, 40s, ask her to show you her best picture of herself. It's going to be a picture from when she's 21, 22, 23 years old, right? Guys, since we can't just rely on looks, right? We have to rely on all those other factors that women ask from us. It takes years to acquire that. Most guys won't get to that point until they're 35, 40. That's why you're seeing a lot of guys get married and settle down in their mid-40s. Why is that? It's not because they just happen to wait that long and that's when it happened, because it takes a long time to get to that point. Go ahead.
It does take a while for men to build up. Years. So when they have a choice to have high standards, they're going to take that choice. They're going to go for that. But the thing is that most men are average men, and average men either have low standards or have no standards, basically because they don't have a choice at that point.
That's what it is. And it puts you in an interesting situation. And this is what happens a lot of the times is you're an average guy. You make $60K a year. You're dating this girl, right? You don't have a whole lineup of girls. You don't have girls hitting you up and DMing you all the time. And you're dating this girl. You're happy. And eventually she's going to pressure you into like, well, I'm ready for kids. I'm ready for marriage. You may not necessarily be ready for marriage or kids, but you're like, damn, I don't want to lose her. And you get pressured into that next step out of like, they call that like a scarcity mindset. And unfortunately, some guys will just do it out of that scarcity mindset, like, oh, I don't want to lose her. Let me just give her what she wants and have kids and get married, and then like that's where it starts. And look, if you end up with the right person and things work out, great. But unfortunately, statistically, from what we know, divorce rate in America is like 50%. 70% of women initiate divorces. You're not putting yourself in the best situation. Don't just marry her out of that mindset of like, oh, I don't want to lose her. Oh my God. Like, I've been dating this girl for 2-3 years and I don't want to lose her. Let me just marry her because she said she's going to leave me. That's a standard I think guys should have. Well, don't just give in to like what the girl wants. That's where that's an important standard to have.
Well, the thing is that guys should work on raising their own value so they can have the choice to have higher standards. Because pretty much if you don't do that, you're not putting yourself in position to get the best quality girl out there. So the thing is that this is to the guys out there, men, you have to start working your ass very hard. Work your ass off to get to the point where you can say, okay, I have choices now. I can have a girl that's A, B, C, D, and E.
I think guys should really spend their 20s and 30s just working, improving yourself, improving your physical shape, improve your money, improve your knowledge, improve your skills. Don't worry about like people are gonna shame you for it. Like I've experienced too. Like, oh, you're 35 and you're not married. All that stuff. Marriage is not some kind of a win for guys in the modern world. Maybe at one point in history it was. Getting married is not some kind of a win. Guys don't win when they get married. It's like, yes, I got married. Now I'm I'm set. I reached that point where I got married.
Well, there's no advantage to men getting married.
There isn't. Marriage is something that guys do when they're with a girl that they like. They've been dating her for a while, and like that's the next step you take. You get married, you have kids, you kind of have to at that point, right? Don't get pressured into marriage and having kids just because you're dating some girl and you don't have options. And that's I think, an important standard to have. And unfortunately, the opposite happens. Guys will date a girl. I've had situations where I got pressured into marriage. 2 of my exes pressured me into marriage. I knew I wasn't going to do it. I ended the relationship and I walked away. It sucked. It sucks for a couple of months. You're going to go through it for a few months. But looking back at it, they're not to hit on them, but they're both single. They're both single moms.
How dare you?
That could have been me paying the child support for 18 years. And then what do women do? They break up with the guy, they talk bad about him, and then they move on to the next guy. Women don't have a scarcity mindset. Women have a abundance mindset. You never hear a woman say like, oh my God, my ex, I'll never find another guy. They leave one guy and they're ready for the next one.
Well, the thing is,
what's that song, Ariana Grande? Thank you, next?
I think it's thank you, next. Yeah.
Guys should really have that mentality.
The thing is that women are consistently hit on. So why are their egos so high?
And there you go.
Why do they have standards so high? It's because they're consistently attracting men, validated. There's guys asking them out all the time. And if there's a guy out there, especially the average man, and they get a girl, they may be pressured into a trap where they have to get into a long-term relationship or get married or even have kids. And it's really a trap. You're stuck if you rush into something like that. Some guys
Women are always going to choose their best option, no matter what their standards are or what have you, or their situation, or what their age, their weight, their lifestyle, how much they make. Women are always going to choose their best option. So if a woman has like 100 DMs and is like, the broke guy, the loser, the guy that makes average money, above average money, a blue check mark comes in, she's responding to that guy.
Status.
She's not responding to the other 50 average, quote unquote, losers, because they have the options to do so. Guys are in the opposite. Guys, you go into a guy's DM and it's like his friend, a friend zone chick, another friend zone chick, and just like it's minuscule. It's just like you get like a couple DMs from the same people. You go into a girl's DM, the whole thing's full. So women are in a position to have standards because they have an inflated ego. There's a lot of guys hitting on. They have a lot of choices, and as humans, the more choices we have, we start to kind of like, you start looking at like, oh, well, I don't know which one of these I want. Maybe I should try some of these, some of those, and we'll see which one I like. So
before we go further with that, guys, make sure you support the channel by subscribing, hit the like button, and hit the notification button. We're just starting here, as I've said prior, and we want to keep this going for you guys. We don't know where this is going to take us. We're hoping we can take off here and help many people, because the goal is to provide value, help all the men out there. Again, this is a male improvement podcast. We want to help guys out there, but of course, we want to be able to touch the ladies out there because they need to understand where guys are coming from. And maybe the guy that they're married to, or the guy that is their boyfriend, that they're in a relationship with, that they're dating, that they're talking to, whatever the case may be, is not telling them this because they are afraid that the relationship may go sour, they break up. If it's a marriage, it's a divorce. So we are here taking the hits for you guys. Please hit that like button, hit that support button, and comment. Let us know what you think. So to go further with this, men do have some more standards, but not many more.
You know what the main difference is before we continue? Generally in society, women are praised for having standards. Yeah, you go, girl. She could be overweight. Maybe she isn't the best looking. Yeah, you go, girl. You go get him. Yeah, you deserve it. As a guy, try expressing your standards and you'll be bashed for it. Oh, you're so shallow. You only like looks. Oh my God, we have so much more to offer.
How dare you?
Guys aren't really which is another pretty good point now that I think of it. Guys aren't really allowed to have standards. The moment we express what we like, what we're attracted to, you're bashed for it. You're safe for. Oh, you're such a shallow person. Just looks. Women could sit there and be like, okay, I know I'm an average 6'7". I know I'm 160 pounds. I work at Walmart, but I know my worth. I deserve the best. I want a guy that makes 150K, 6 foot tall, assertive, dominant, masculine, and he's going to be loyal too. He's not going to cheat on me.
You're right about that, because think about it. Women are praised for having these high standards in men. However, when guys want something, even if it's a few things, it's all up in arms. Oh, how could you say that? Why do you want all of that from us? Why are you asking for so much? How could you? It's such a bad thing that men have standards.
Women can have an entire laundry list of standards and qualifications and checkpoints that they need, and even then the guy doesn't have a chance.
You
right?
can make
like,
a
or
book
it's like
out of it.
50-50.
You can make a book out of it.
Guys, we're so simple. We have like a few simple asks. Some of them I can't say because this is YouTube, but you can just imagine what they are. And we're bashed for it. We're shamed for it. Oh, please. Oh, you know. So going back to the original topic, like, do guys have low standards? No, I don't think guys have low standards. I think guys have completely different needs. I think when you compare it to women, where our needs are completely different, guys, unfortunately, nowadays in today's dating market, thank you, social media, and online dating and sugar daddies and all that stuff, we don't have as many options. So we have to kind of play the cards that we're dealt. But the most important lesson to be learned here is that as a guy, you have to constantly improve yourself. Whether you're 18, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, I don't think you should ever really aim to just settle or get comfortable with yourself, because there's always room for improvement, whether it's financially, physically, in improving your skills, knowledge. You could always improve in some way. And another very important thing that we forgot to say, never make chasing women a focus. That is the worst thing you could do. If you prioritize chasing women, you will fail 100% of the time.
Well, that's the thing I was saying before. And to quote Rich Cooper is the man.
Shout out to Rich Cooper.
Men should be out there putting a dent in the world, as Rich Cooper says.
Yep.
So
women should be he always says, like, women should be a complement to your life and not a focus.
Exactly. So what should you guys be doing? You have to be working on yourself. Men, you have to work on yourself. You have to get in the gym. You have to take care of your hygiene. You have to take care of your hair. Work on your money. You have a job, get 2-3 jobs. Do what it takes. If you want the choices in the types of women that you're going to be around, that you're going to be dating, that you're going to have a relationship with, then you have to get yourself to the point where you can allow yourself to make those choices. Because if you are just some guy living at home in your mother's basement, drinking, smoking, eating desserts all day and playing video games, you're not going to have a choice, my friend. So really focus on yourself. Put it aside where your mindset is, I'm going to chase women, and instead change your mindset to, I'm going to chase my goals. I'm going to focus on
literally,
me.
like, that's the best thing you could do. Is, like, if you're having a hard time with dating, I urge you to just completely step out of dating and chasing women altogether. Reevaluate your finances, your physical health, your diet. What are you eating? Dieting is also huge. You can't just work out and eat whatever you want. You have to diet as well. And just focus on that. Take a year, take 2 years, 3 years, however much time you need. Just get out of dating. Modern dating is completely screwed up. The average guy doesn't stand a chance, and why do we say don't prioritize women, don't prioritize dating? You completely screw yourself up and completely throw yourself off track financially, mentally, chasing modern women. This is not the time. This is not the time to do it. It isn't.
It's not. Focus on yourself. But to add on, some standards that men would like to have when they have the choice, or if they have the choice, they want a nurturing and kind woman. Like we said before, physical attractiveness, peace at home, not going back and forth arguing all the time about, oh, why you left the toilet seat up, or why you didn't take out the trash today, or why didn't you make the bed, whatever the situation is. But also nurturing, kind. You want to be around somebody nice, okay? You want to be around a nice woman, not someone that's going to be on your case 24/7, arguing just to argue. Ladies, we don't like that as guys. There's most of the time there is no reason to just argue for the fact of arguing.
And that's how, very important point, that's how modern women are. If she sees the guy is below her financially or in status, she will treat the guy like pure shit. That's what's extremely common nowadays.
That's why, guys, you have to get yourselves to a level where that doesn't happen.
That's like a little tip for you. If you see that a lot of women are treating you like shit, cut them the hell out, block them, get them out, step out of dating, go back, work on yourself. Come back in a year, 2, 3. Don't even bother. I'm telling you, don't even bother with modern dating right now.
Even if you're trying as the average dude, you should not tolerate someone that's not giving you peace at home. Someone that's arguing, that's not nice. Genuinely not nice.
No, but I need $200K, and you got to be 6 foot, and you have to be loyal to me, and don't cheat on me. And I'm a Capri Sun, so I know what I'm talking about. And my sun and my moon are in alignment.
What I say to the women on that is good freaking luck with that. Good freaking luck, because there is a very small amount of men that are making 200-300K, that are 6 foot tall or higher, that have status, that are ambitious, that work out in the gym, they look good. But there's so many of you women out there, so many beautiful women out there, don't get me wrong.
I think a major wake-up call for a lot of these modern women is
supply and demand.
Don't ever think because that higher value guy is dating you that he's going to commit to you. Because remember, like we said earlier, our needs are different than yours. Just because he's dating you and sleeping with you does not mean he sees you as a long-term partner. You could sit there and tell yourself all day long that you know your worth and all this my energy and I'm healing and all this stuff. Higher value guys will date you. They will sleep with you. But until they commit to you, marry you, and give you the lifestyle you want, it unfortunately it means nothing. And I think that's going to be a big wake-up call when women go through these type of guys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and they realize like women hate the idea of settling. I think we're going to have to do a separate episode on that. What do you guys think? If you guys want an episode on like should women settle or why don't women settle, I think we should do an episode just on that alone.
Comment in the video.
Yeah,
let us know what you think.
Right there.
A couple more things before we start closing off. We also look for women that are smart and intelligent, that are going to add value to us. If we as a guy have even a job or a business going for ourselves, that's something that women can add to. Another thing, of course, is honesty. You want somebody that you can trust and communicate with. Things that guys don't really care about is a woman working extremely hard. As you mentioned before, the boss babe, someone that is, I'm independent. We don't really care about that. So just keep that in mind. Your money, we don't care about your money, especially if we're a high value man. So
I would even say no matter what the guy's value is, the woman's money is never a factor. I've never in my life encountered a situation where I was attracted to a girl and then I found out she was unemployed and I went, I can't date her. Or she makes minimum wage. That's not going to work. She's hot as hell, but she doesn't make enough. Or she has a slamming body, but she has no master's degree. Can't date her.
Well, if there's a girl,
our needs are different.
Yeah, if there's a girl that works at McDonald's that's beautiful, and a girl that is an executive in one of the best companies in the U.S.
Looks good, beautiful. Nice body, free McDonald's. I think I just had 2 sounds at the same time. That was cool. Well, we're near our 30-minute mark, so I guess we'll slowly wrap it up. Closing statements.
Guys, men out there, you can have standards. But if you're the average man, you won't have standards. If you're a high-value man, you'll have not only standards, but you'll have an abundant amount of choices of women just coming up to you because you are who you are.
Here's my closing statements. Never get married just to get married. Don't have kids just to have kids. Don't let anybody shame you because of your age. Never do something based on pressure. Focus on yourself, your finances, your mental health, your physical health, and you will be in a position to be able to raise your standards and have a happier life and a better dating life. That's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you next time, guys.